Hello, it's Dr. Owers. So I recently put out a video that I entitled The Elephant in the Room. And that video summarized why it was that throughout all my communication with you that I haven't spoken about weight loss. And that video goes into it in depth, but the long and short of it is that if weight loss is your only way of gauging your success and your only focus too early on in the process of turning your body around, you'll run into some problems, some frustrations, some imbalances, and insurmountable goals. The idea that in North America and a lot of affluential countries, we run our body on the insulin system is what I've been trying to convey. And this promotes something called insulin resistance because it sets up a hijacking, I suppose, of your body's system in delivering the calories that you need from only one source, the only source that insulin can mediate, and that's sugars, carbs. And there's another way in which your body can deliver calories. And calories are the unit of measure of energy that your body gives up in order to satisfy your thinking of the action you want to do. So if you run on the treadmill, you're asking for calories. And where people get a little bit mixed up is that they think they're asking for fat, and that's not true. You're asking for calories. And if you run your body on insulin, those calories are coming from sugars and carbs, not from fat. Insulin doesn't do that. But there's another way your body can deliver, and that's through ketosis, which is more of a fat-burning mechanism that delivers ketones. And ketones are the preferred fuel for your brain and your heart. So you'll really notice a big difference in your performance, mentally and physically, if you are of the mind of changing over from running your body on insulin to running your body on ketosis. So it comes down to supplements, and I've discussed supplements now from the very first video. They were first introduced to you for helping your immune system be strong, but as a matter of fact, coincidentally, a great number of them just support you through this transition, this healthy transition with appropriate diet and some exercise into ketosis, with a few extra supplements that I've discussed. And then the idea of insulin resistance and how to, and the reasons why you should not want that to happen to your body. In a short period of time, relatively short period of time, number of weeks, you can switch over into this wonderful wisdom of the body way of recruiting calories from your fat stores, because we all know we have about 100,000 calories in the average person, not the overweight person, in fat stores, and only about 1,700 calories available to you through sugar, gluconeogenesis. And so food choices are important. But let's get back to weight really briefly. So when you do these things, you will likely experience the weight loss that you're deserving, but not up front. Up front, what's going to start to happen is that you're going to start to lose weight from internal organs. So if you're running your body on insulin and you have insulin resistance for a number of years, you get something that you might have heard of before, like a fatty liver. But this fat can be around all sorts of organs. The heart is another one. That fat starts to go away very early on in switching over to food choices that bring you into a ketosis type system with intermittent fasting. And I've discussed intermittent fasting as well. We'll do a few more videos on that one because there's a lot of questions about it. And then the other place that you start to lose fat from is, especially in men, but sometimes in women, is that central part, the so-called metabolic syndrome fat around the omentum, which is something that supports the intestine and sort of the love handle areas in that subcutaneous fat. And then the last part, you start losing weight from is all other aspects where you might be storing fat around your arms, around your thighs, things like that. So that's the order, but most people want to see it leave their arms and their thighs right away, right? And that's not what's going to happen. And so therefore they gauge their success based on those measurements, and they get frustrated and they say it's not working. But stick with it and it will. And a lot more things will happen for you as well. And then food choices. Did you know that if you're having a bad day or a bad week or a bad year, you simply have to make different food choices? Yeah, the 80% of your mood, believe it or not, comes from your gut. I know, it doesn't come from your brain. There's a huge amount of information being sent up to your brain from your intestinal tract, and treating that properly goes a long way to help improve your mood. And when you choose your foods in the morning, you're choosing A, how much energy you want to have. You're choosing B, how much what your mood is going to be, and you're also choosing the amount of hunger signaling you're going to have throughout the day, believe it or not. So if you want to have those cravings all day, that sort of crash feeling in the middle of the afternoon, you make choices that run your body on insulin. If you want to have a depressed mood, you make choices that don't support your gut health. And if you want to have low energy, you simply rely on poor choices mixed with stimulants like coffee and, heaven forbid, alcohol, which ends up being a depressant later on. So food choices are very important, and we'll get more into that. I've touched upon it briefly in 3 or 4 other videos, and it's something that I like to keep in flow. I like to have you decide and discover what works for you based on the bits of information that I offer, instead of sort of naming a diet and saying that this is all it has to be. So I hope this has been helpful, and we'll be in touch.